and so on and so forth. So here, when we're talking about this knowledge, so here the knowledge we're talking about, although knowledge can be defined into two, and as we all know, there are a lot of hadiths that um, address a lot of hadith, prophetic traditions that address the importance of knowledge, the importance of seeking knowledge. Part of it is طلب العلم فريضة على كل مسلم ومسلمة. So seeking knowledge is necessary for all Muslims. Seeking knowledge is necessary for all Muslims. Because why? Because you cannot worship Allah with ignorance, which is what we are seeing in our community, in our modern state, in our contemporary context. That is what we are seeing. Worshipping Allah with ignorance. So you cannot worship Allah with ignorance. As in Muslims, you need to know the basics, the foundations, the ilmu daruri. So the necessary things that you need to know that you cannot do without. So when we're talking about knowledge, Imam Ghazali rahimahullah in his book Mizan al-Amal, he divided knowledge into two. He said we have the practical knowledge. He said we have theoretical knowledge and we have practical knowledge. Even that practical knowledge itself, there are some portions that are theoretical and there are some portions that are practical. So the theoretical parts are the theoretical parts. Like it's the theoretical part is the knowledge that you need for you to be doing or to actualize that action, that practical aspect of it. So there's some knowledge that you need in order for you to worship. For example, you need the knowledge of, for example, how to recite surah, how to recite surah al Fatiha and some other surah, so that you can do what so that you can observe your salah, your 5 daily prayer, and your nawafil. You need knowledge of okay, what should you be saying, for example, when you're standing and when you're prostrating, before you stand, when you say takbiratul ihram, what do you have to say? You need that knowledge. You need the knowledge of Muktilat Salat. What are the things that can spoil your Salat or that can spoil your wudu, your ablution? You need that knowledge. These are essential knowledge that you need to know. So that is for Salat. So we can come to Ramadan as well. So Ramadan also is part of action of the limb. Okay. So now when you're doing Ramadan, there are some essential things that you need to know. For example, yeah, you are fasting. Okay. If you want to fast, do you have to say do you have to say intention or not? Most people don't know that they need to say intention before you are fasting. Because without intention, then how can you differentiate between you and non-Muslim that is fasting? So non-Muslim that is fasting without any intention, intention is what we differentiate between you guys. So you need that knowledge of how to know that it is important and necessary for you to do your intention, to say intention before you start fasting. So how many Muslims know this? So this is part of the essential knowledge that we're talking about. This is part of the practical knowledge. Practical knowledge because it is what you need so that you can be able to actualize that practical aspect of the actions of the limb that we're saying. So like Ramadan, for example, okay, so intention is very important. Do you know how to say intention? Okay, what are the things that can spoil fasting? What are the things that can invalidate your fasting? Do you know it? So, what are the, for example, some askar that you need to be doing during Ramadan? What are the things that you need to abstain from during Ramadan? This is knowledge that is very essential. What are the things that you need to be doing? What do you need to say when you want to break, for example? So, these are the knowledge that are very, very important. What should you be saying, for example, if you witness the night of the majesty, for example? How many nawafil do you have to be doing? So these are the necessary knowledge that you need to know in order for you to be able to practice, in order for you to be able to observe this devotional practice in a proper way. For you to be able to observe all these devotional practices in a proper way, you need knowledge of how to do it. Because you cannot worship Allah with ignorance. You need to worship Allah with knowledge. Therefore, you need to seek that knowledge. So that is the reason why we say that knowledge of that which cannot be complete without it is also necessary. For example, Salat is necessary. Then knowledge of what we teach you how to observe Salah is also necessary as well. Although it's a means, yeah, but it's a means that will lead to a necessary end. Therefore, that means itself is also necessary. So you need to seek that knowledge. So these are the importance of how knowledge is some sort of indicator of the importance of knowledge in Ramadan. So Meaning, if you have the knowledge of, okay, yeah, this is Ramadan, what should you need to do? How do you need to do? How should you act? What should you abstain from? What should you be doing? What do you have to be doing? Like, what do you have to be doing consistently without breaking or without intermittent between both of them? So, what are the things that you need to do? What are the askar? What do you need to do? What do you need to stop doing? What do you need to avoid? All this kind of knowledge are very, very important. What are the things that you need to be doing that can get you a lot of reward? You know, what are the things that you need to do that can, for example, that can destroy your fasting, that can spoil your fasting? So, what are the things that you need to do that can get you closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Right? What are the things that you need to do that you don't know that might lead to some sort of doing some sort of association with Allah? So these are important. These are something important. They are very, very important, and it is what we need to do and what we need to know so that we can have we can fast with knowledge. We can have a valid fasting. Because if you are fasting and you don't know the knowledge of what you need to do, what you don't need to do, what can spoil your fasting, what cannot spoil your fasting, and what are the necessary things that you need to put in place before you start fasting, how you need to fast, what you need to abstain from, all these sort of things. If you don't know them, then you need to ask yourself, why am I doing this? So this knowledge is very important because without that knowledge, you will just be acting ignorant. You just be ignorant. You just be acting in not in a proper way, which sometimes you might even spoil your fasting. Why you don't know? Because you don't have the knowledge. So seek knowledge. It's very important. So you
Yeah,
seek the knowledge
just
so you
to
can get it. Yeah.
buttress what you just said is
Yeah.
um you need a knowledge to know that you need to fast in Ramadan. That's one knowledge because it's different from the older fasting. So you need to know that you need to fast in Ramadan. That's one knowledge. Another knowledge is you need to know on how to fast in Ramadan. That's another knowledge. So and also you need to